Hello everybody, welcome back to another Pixelworlds video. Today I'm actually going to give you 10 Black Tower tips, and specifically 10 Black Tower tips to help you through the tower. There's nothing about profiting in here or anything about the rewards or RNG. That could be a different video. This is specifically about tips to help you get through the Black Tower, so let's just get right into the first tip. The first tip is basically about different utilities that you can use for the Black Tower. So there are 3 categories of items that can help you in the Black Tower that aren't ruled out by the rule bots. However, before you spend a lot of world locks on these items, you should keep in mind that Jake talked on stream about changes to the rule bots in the future, and this will most likely come with the Black Tower update. However, it's unlikely that these items will be infected, as they haven't been, affected in previous years. All 3 of these items have worked in previous years, so I don't know why they'd remove them now. Regardless, let's go into it. So the first one is the shark fin and the mermaid tail, and these make you swim faster in water, and this will be helpful. Even though there's really not many water levels in the tower, it still obviously can be useful at times. The next one is that there are a variety of gas protection items in Pixel Worlds, so you should go check out Kuko's video to find out which one is the best, but I'll list off some examples. So there's the gas mask, the hazmat mask, the street artist mask, and the plague doctor mask. These masks can reduce the time you have the gas effect by around 1 to 1.5 seconds, so they can actually genuinely be helpful overall in the tower. Lastly is the green bouncer shoes, the bunnynator shoes, and the ghost ring. These can grant you auto jumps, so basically when you hold down the jump button, you just keep repetitively jumping instead of having to spam press it. To be completely honest, I'm not really sure how helpful this would be, or if it's 100% worth it to get for the tower specifically, but I do think that there are some situations where it could be helpful. The second tip I have is about perks. As I mentioned in my mining perk video, there are 2 health perks as well as a lava damage reduction perk, and all 3 of these are infinitely useful for the tower due to how many chip damage levels there are, whether it's lava, zombie hand traps, acid water, poison traps, etc. So I guess the tip in this one is to use them if you have them. It might also be a good idea to use the water perk, but like I said earlier, there aren't really too many water levels. Third tip I have is to practice the tower in separate worlds in your spare time, and if you need to practice a strategy basically for a level. Some great worlds for this are Tower Training, Black Tower Hard, Black Tower Teach, and Tower Climb. Keep in mind some of these worlds may be outdated with modules that no longer exist and may not have new modules from previous years. Also remember that there are new modules every year, so some of those will require you to learn on the spot, but these worlds will probably update you anyway. The fourth tip is to take your time on insta-kill levels. Like mining, you only have 1 life in the Black Tower, so on specific levels that have things like spike traps, spike bombs, spikes, you know what, just take your time if you see anything sharp. But really, you will instantly lose the tower if you get hit by these, so it's honestly best to make sure that you do it right, especially if you have extra time from the lava below you. 5. Don't wait for other players. This may be obvious, but simply don't wait for other players in the tower to do a specific part of the parkour, as it'll waste time for yourself. A good example of what I'm referring to is the cloud levels. As soon as a cloud appears, go for it even if others in the tower are as well. Obviously, if all the players in the tower have this mindset, no one will get past it, but try to be the first one to get to these parts and the first to finish so you don't have to worry about this happening to you. The next tip is to learn the module patterns. This tip is pretty obvious, but certain worlds, as mentioned above, contain these modules that will allow you to practice in, and there are certain paths that you can take that will act as shortcuts to speed up your run. Some modules also have a risk-reward aspect in which will make you choose between a slime path, or basically just a slower path, or a spike bomb, coffin, ghost, etc. path. If it takes a shorter amount of time, I recommend always taking the shortcut. This is not advice for life, but in the Black Tower, learning and memorizing simple patterns can get you through your run significantly faster. The next tip is keep an open inventory. This again is pretty obvious, but inventory management during a run is a really bad issue to run into, so I recommend having a couple quantum safes in your home world to put ingredients and consumables while you're in the tower, Tower, and if you aren't already using mannequins to trade out sets, then you should definitely consider doing that, as mannequins aren't super expensive. The next tip is don't waste strange vials. This tip is pretty specific, but strange vials are specifically an aid to the Black Tower, as they allow you to jump higher than normal, but they're realistically not worth using, as you would be able to get much more profit from just selling the vials than putting them back into your runs. Number 9 is listen to music. Now, this may seem a bit dramatic and really unnecessary, but after all, this is a tips video, so you kind of knew what you were getting into with this one. But here's what I'll tell you. Music has multiple benefits depending on the person. Music can ease stress and anxiety, as well as make you more focused. In this case, performing certain modules can require focus, so you may benefit from listening to music. Something to point out though is that you should lean towards listening to instrumentals and music created in this way, originally like classical or some rock music, as lyrics tend to be more on the distracting side. This is a good reason for why difficult games may have this type of soundtrack. A good example I would say would be Doom. The next tip is to play on a device with a screen as big as possible. This tip is highly controversial, as a lot of people tell me they prefer playing on a mobile phone rather than a PC or tablet, but this tip is more so about the size of the screen you're playing on. The thinking behind this tip comes down to immersion and visibility. When playing on mobile, you may cover some parts of your screen with your fingers, which already gives you a loss of visibility, and because the screen is already so small, it will just generally be harder to play on. This is not a fault of any mobile players, and a lot of mobile players are already very good on mobile, as this is the 4th year of the Black Tower, so take this tip with a grain of salt. That's it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and if you want me to cover any other tips for anything else in the game, then just let me know down below. See you guys next time. Bye. Also, guys, right here at the end, I just did want to mention that the reason the audio was a bit weird in this video is because I'm working on a way to actually automize like the cuts and the spacing in the video. So normally when I'm actually recording, I take breaths between like sentences and all that, and that's why you didn't like hear that and it didn't sound like a normal person talking. I'm trying to get it more realistic. Like that had a weird sort of setting for it, so it automatically cut to each word super quickly, and I'm going to try to work on that next video. But if you could bear with it this video, thank you so much. I really didn't realize it was this bad, but anyway, thank you guys for watching. Have a great day.